Hello.
Gobsmacked.
Hello, everyone joining us. Welcome to this emergency broadcast of Follow Everton.
The world is just about to end.
Do not panic. Do not adjust your sets. We join you to discuss an Everton win. Hello, Wes.
All right, mate. Are we up for some shenanigans?
I thank you for joining us, everyone. Hit the like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Share this. Hit the little notification thing. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I don't know, like you, Wes, but I was thinking, okay, we're playing really well. A world apart from, thank you very much, a world apart from how we've seen ourselves play this season. But then I still thought, okay, we're on top, we're dominating, but Brentford could still turn us over like they did 3-2 a couple of years ago. But even though we deserved it, I don't know what to feel. What is this feeling?
Listen, right? That performance was near on perfection. And it's for me, that is a better result than the Brighton game because Brighton were easy to counter-attack. Brentford are a very, very good team built on a shoestring, right? With a very, very good manager. And we outplayed them tonight. Literally outplayed them. And you're like, what happened? What happened there? Like, the Everton of last week is suddenly forgotten about. But at some point, that Everton's going to show its fucking ugly face again.
I feel like it's like Christmas and my birthday. No, honestly, that's to see us as well, to have almost equal possession, to have that number of shots, and I mean, when we went ahead, and I was in shock because I thought, how long is it going to be? Yes, I'll get to that in a second. How long is it going to be before we capitulate? I was being a doom and gloom merchant. I was being miserable, going, "Oh no, this is going to fall apart at some point. We'll get our heads down. We'll be under the cosh." And then we scored, and not only that, it was a good little bit of play, and we had sustained play. And okay, we missed a couple of chances in the first half that I thought we really should have capitalised. But again, whether it's confidence or I don't know, but there was something to the football today. Like we've been literally the kind of thing that we've all been talking about. I mean, we went into this game thinking, oh, we're not going to see. I want to see DCL and Beto up front and Garner brought inside and maybe Danjuma playing wide. And I was thinking, well, we're renowned for 4-4-2. Why not take a chance on that? But the entire style of football today was just, there was actually a plan. And although
that's a fresh air.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
But you know what though? Like, I think, as much as some people don't like Sean Dyche, right? A lot of our play went through the middle of the park today.
Right.
And we didn't just put it down the wings or down the flanks and get balls into the box, which I thought I think it kind of threw Brentford. You know what I mean? And because we were playing through the middle and little triangles and stuff like that, and chipping balls into the chests of Doucoure, and it was just outstanding. You know what I mean? It was an outstanding game of football, and that's what we've missed. We keep getting in sporadic bits here and there, but today was just like there's not many people that go to the G-Tech Stadium, right, and dominate Brentford in that way.
It was refreshing to see. We had sustained possession. There was a consistent plan to put pressure on them. We did more with the football. I mean, at half time, I was thinking, okay, Doucoure has scored and he hit the woodwork as well, because we had McNeil could have made it 2-0 and he just just wide, inches wide. Mykolenko missed an obvious chance. It was on his weak right foot, and then the ball was fizzed across and missed by 2 players up front. Doucoure, that was when Doucoure hit the woodwork after that. But we looked as if we were a little bit fragile and lacked a bit of composure. But talking about this, putting Garner out wide, I want to say I thought Garner really grew into the game. He drove a lot forward, and he's responsible for that 3rd goal as well, putting pressure on. But they all did that today. I mean, Beto was a lot stronger and held himself up. McNeil was good going forward. The only thing I thought at half time was that maybe Idrissa Gana-Gueye had a few wild shots, couldn't hit a barn door, and had let the ball go a couple of times, and was just a little bit slowing off the pace. And Mykolenko, likewise, seemed to be a little bit off the pace going forward. He wasn't as forward thinking. He'd revert to, but then again, if I suppose we stuck possession, but it was completely different. And then we came out in the second half and it was sustained, and it was phenomenal.
Yeah, the fact that we were so dominant in the first half, they've obviously gone in 1-1, which wasn't deserved at all. And the manager's gone to them, lads, we should be ahead here. Get out and do a bit more of that, and we'll win this game. And they've come out and they've performed, and you can only give them big kudos for that. You know what I mean? Like they were like Doucoure. Somebody put up there, Brentford was man of the match, but for me, it was Doucoure. I thought Mykolenko. I said in our our WhatsApp chat that Mykolenko was to blame for the goal but he had two men, but he was sucked out. But after that, he was superb. Like Mykolenko was super, and for me, it was close. He was very close. Apart from the fact he was to blame for the first goal for Brentford, I think he would have run a close man of the match for me.
It's difficult to say. I mean, Branthwaite had a solid performance, but Tarkowski as well couldn't fault him at all. So I'd say he's got an assist and a goal. Assist for the first goal takes us ahead, and scored the second goal, which takes us ahead as well. You know, the third goal's bonus. Just unbelievable. But I've got to say a big thank you as well to Chris, who's contributed.
Yeah.
I really do appreciate that, Chris.
Thanks very much, Chris. $9. Is that Aussie dollars?
Yeah.
New Zealand dollars. Yeah. I know all about them.
But yeah, Robbie, get on the channel, Robbie. He said he thought the team were when it came out. And we hope we got a first win.
We all did.
We ended up smashing them.
Yeah, we all did. Everybody through a man and a woman was not happy with that team. You know what I mean? Garner on the right again, but he did really well. Like I say, he grew into the game.
Congratulations to Casper, who's
cheap money,
married.
Those Aussie dollars, Wezzo.
Have a lovely wedding tomorrow.
It is cheap money. Them those Aussie dollars, 2 for 1 now they are.
Now the thing I'd say is, right, I was going to say this: we've had 67 shots on goal in the first 5 games. The difference today is we took our chances, yeah, but we've also seen a transformation in how we play, so that sometimes we'd have shots from, you'd think, oh, some of them can go in, but they weren't the kind of shots that today we're making shots. Okay, today we took shots where you're thinking, oh, it's so close to going in. Oh, it's if it only hit that properly, and he's fluffed it, and he's sort of hit it with his leg or scuffed it, or just hit it a bit weak. And like McNeil did that as well, and it just went straight to the keeper. Now, you kind of are more forgiving of those. But when you're playing on form and you're playing more attacking football, that's attacking the goal, drawing players out of position, you know, going one-on-one with the keeper, my God, more of them go in because we're playing the right kind of football. Did you think that? I mean, somebody said before about Beto is going to be a beast. I can't find it here.
Yeah, Beto done everything that he possibly could do apart from score a goal. Like, he was dominant in the air. You know, he held the ball up well. He was getting stuck in. Can't really, apart from score, he done everything he possibly could. Like, you know, it was a shame not to see him and DCL on the pitch together, but that may come in time once they do a bit more training on the pitch together. But,
So right, let's talk about this then. The equaliser, the Brentford equaliser.
yeah.
Who do you think's to blame?
Well, for starters, we could have stopped it in the midfield, but then we had two men in the box on the left. Michalenko was out of position, so ultimately, it's a lapse in concentration. So you can turn around and you can put it down to a couple of players, but ultimately, I think if you're defending, you've got to defend your area, and if you're not there, you can't defend it. But he did have two men to cover.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, God, there's so many comments here, and it's great. But Chris said Garner may have been wide on paper, but the wide players did tuck in. But it was a whole lot more team awareness of your teammates and the men around you and where they were. You could see the way that they held the line and covered, to maintain that high pressure and press on Brentford. So I personally can forgive that being out of position, because sometimes that's just the price you pay, and you just hope that defensively you can push them out wide until you've got the cover. But it was very unfortunate that it was again, the margin of error. The ball was, it's the same difference between what would have stopped McNeil's shot going in and just curving a little bit rather than trickling and just going wide, or maybe if it was hit at a slightly different angle. Now, Pickford, if he'd have got nothing on it, Tarkowski could have cleared it. If he'd have got more on it, it would have gone wide, and it was just that.
But if he hadn't have dived and tried to save it, he'd have got stick either way. You know what I mean? Yeah. His job is to save goals. He dived. It was a powerful shot, and he could only get one hand to it, or half a hand. In hindsight, if he'd have pulled away from it, then Tarkowski would have cleared it off the line. But I personally, I wouldn't say now and say Pickford was to blame for that goal, because he's, at the end of the day, that's his job. He's a goalie. He's meant to save attempts at goal.
Yeah.
And he tried to do that, and he just didn't have enough hands on it.
So, I mean, it's just one of those things, isn't it? It happens in football. And luckily we scored 3 goals, so their 1 goal wasn't enough. But it goes to show, though, that that once we start scoring more goals, now defensively, I thought we were great for the most part. Branthwaite was strong. Tarkowski was strong. We held them up. They had more of a fighting spirit, like they weren't backing away from balls and sort of saying, "Oh, sorry, have you got the ball? Am I going to let you play?" No, we've got to stake a claim in the game, and that's what we did.
Yeah, I think we marshalled that in Mbeumo really well, and Wissa, considering Sky were it was the Mbeumo Sky Sports Saturday Night Football. They were desperate for him to score. He couldn't keep reminding us enough that he'd scored 4 goals this season.
But, well, the Blues quite rightly said it wasn't a terrible mistake for their goal. Branthwaite scuffed his clearance. Pickford didn't get a strong hand on it. Miko even had a good game. But see how transformative it is. We could have scored more, but the fact that we maintained that pressure and that entire game plan, and we seem to have a style of football today, and it's exactly what we and loads of other people have been talking about.
Stu's right there, though. We could have easily had 3 or 4 in the first half. We were that dominant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we could have been out of sight in the first half. And it's great to see.
Right. So did you not find it rather frustrating that they seem to scrutinise and agonise over VAR and then suggested, it was offside, and then it turns out it's the wrong frame or the wrong phase of play,
which
goes
to show, which goes to show you how it can be manipulated, doesn't it? Because 1 minute he was offside, and then next minute it was we'll change that and see when the ball actually left his foot. Well, why did you bother looking at the first frame in the first place? If you should be
Why
looking when
freeze
the
it on
ball
that
leaves
when it
his
comes
foot.
up to the world? Why freeze it on that when it comes up to the stadium and the media and everybody watching?
Exactly. You're just creating the rod for your own back, aren't you? And it's like if the ball is meant to be frozen when the ball hits the player's foot and leaves his foot. You know what I mean? And if the guy's offside or he's onside, then you can't argue with that. But it just goes to show you how things can be misconstrued or manipulated.
Speaking of, yeah, I mean, I was a bit concerned that they were going to find some reason for our first goal to be offside. Anyway, look, the goals stand. It's fine.
It was just an all-round impressive display.
Yeah,
and we haven't had it enough in 3 years to get overexcited about it.
Peter says, "Come on, lads, give the officials some credit. Oliver did block an open goal for us today."
Yeah, but isn't he a Geordie?
Well,
and hates Everton.
It seems like everyone hates Everton at the moment. Even the people that love Everton hate Everton, although not for today. Yeah, no, I'm just still in shock over that. We played well. We played incisively. We looked for good balls through channels, picking out men. We moved quickly. We covered the gaps and knew where the second ball was going to land, and we were mopping it up and playing quick 1-2 football. It was.
Do you know what impressed me more today, Jan? Was the decision making was right most of the time.
Yeah,
like they've been making the wrong decisions constantly, and the ball's been breaking down, and then they struggle with the transition. But today, the decision making, the passes that they were passing to players in space, not passing to players that were marked, and the decision making was just there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be overly critical. I did think that Onana doesn't look fully comfortable in his position, but we've had a discussion about that multiple times. So where would you play him, Wes?
Where he plays for Belgium.
Oh, what you mean? I think
that's where he's most effective for Belgium, and it's like I get that we're not really in a position where we can afford to just have one CDM in Garner, but I think Onana be an absolute weapon if he was played in the position that he plays for Belgium. He'd be such a threat, and I think that's why we're not seeing the best out of him when he struggles in games.
Because he's expected to do too much from his position. You've got to do what's demanded of you in the role, and then what your mentality, the way you play football, sort of his automatic responses. You're having to fight yourself.
Yeah, but it's like if you listen to Tom Davies, is why he left Everton was because he never got to play in his natural position. He was never going to ever in my lifetime going to get to play that number 10 role because he wasn't good enough. But is this what's happening with Onana? Are we destined for him to see him, in that position for his whole time at Everton, or are the shackles going to be released on him at some point?
I mean, I suppose it just. I don't know.
Mykolenko impressed today. Looked almost natural making forward runs. That was a bit of a backhanded compliment there, Chris. That
is quality. I have been concerned about Mykolenko because we haven't had anyone to replace him. But it's just, we're joined by Robbie van der Groot.
Robbie van der Groot. All the way from
Hello.
Amsterdam.
Hello, how are you today? We scored 3 goals.
3 goals. Very good.
Boys, just listening to your stream there, and I was like, I mean, we're all buzzing, aren't we? Both Wez and I, we both were talking to the punters before the game, and someone was saying, just can't remember his name, he said, have some faith. And we wanted to have the faith. We saw the team sheet and we went, look, we're not impressed, but it was just our opinion. And then we went into some stats about Everton only winning 3 games in London, getting tonked every time. And we also mentioned the last time DCL scored in London and Everton won 2-1, which was in 2021 in April when we beat West Ham 2-1. So DCL goes and gets on the score sheet again today. It's going to give them a massive confidence boost. And
the whole team.
We're all on a high. We're all on a high. Dyche got it right today. And as you were just been saying, boys, that the amount of chances created so far in the Premiership, the fact that we've only scored 5 goals so far is... So we're knocking on the door, aren't we? You know, we live a little bit of hope. One of the punters said before the game, realistically, we should be looking at 9 points over the next 3 games. And we said, yeah, we'd love it. But realistically, he said 5 to 7 points would be fantastic. And we'd take that before the game. We can smash Luton, we can smash Bournemouth, and then all of a sudden we're up in like 8th position above Man United and Chelsea. So yeah, we have faith. We've got a little bit of hope today. So it was like, long may it continue. But I didn't want to gate crash you. I just put the comments on earlier. I didn't want to gate crash because
you're always welcome, Robbie. You know that.
So you just have a chat and I'll just sit back with me pipe, the imaginary pipe and my slippers and put my feet on, the imaginary glass of wine.
It's just a surreal feeling. I'm so used to the misery. Like my brain's in sort of critical analysis mode, and yet I'm trying to think like, what are these words of praise that are coming to me? I mean, Beto stood up and was strong and dinked the balls on. Doucoure was driving forward. McNeil and there was actually, cohesive play in different phases on the pitch, and we're having a consistent team press and we're not just lumping the ball forward. And like, what's going on? What is this?
Here's a question for you. Chris is saying, do you feel Michalenko's played better when he pairs with McNeil? McNeil does a lot of tracking back. Gives you that. When was the last time, though, that you felt like this? Brighton and probably Bournemouth, their last game of the season.
Yeah.
And that's how few and far between them feelings are.
I've got tears in my eyes.
You've been chopping onions.
No, these are real tears because it's like we just want a little bit of joy. We want a little bit of hope. We've got the faith. We said, didn't we, before the game, we want a little bit of determination, a little bit of effort. We want them to get off the coach and put a performance in, not like they normally do in London, get off the coach and get back on, and they go, what happened there?
I said it last week, right, against Arsenal, that regardless of the scoreline last week, if there was a performance behind it, I think Evertonians would have been a lot happier. But because there wasn't a performance behind it, that's why everybody had a major fume. You know what I mean? Arsenal are a very good team. Brentford is a very good team. But if Everton had played like they did today against Brentford, against Arsenal last week, it might have been a different ball game.
Yeah.
Right, I don't. If you think
Bit harsh, Peter. Bit harsh, Peter.
If you think this is a pointless thing to discuss, then go for it. Right,
Peter. I've got a face for radio.
So if you don't want to discuss this, it's fine. But hypothetically, where would you have put Iwobi in that lineup today if we'd still had him?
Well, probably where Garner plays.
And would you have subbed Garner off or put him in the middle?
Well, it's hard based on Doucoure's performance today. For me, he was man of the match, but you don't get the same performance out of him week after week. So, you don't get the same performance. You never got the same performance out of Iwobi week after week either. But I think,
Gray, or
yeah, all any of the losers that have left us.
Boys, let's face facts. Iwobi was shite for 2 years plus.
Yeah, it was only because Frank came in and changed his position that he started getting the compliments from the fans that he did.
Although, guys, have you heard about that rapper that's potentially a Premier League footballer that's based in London, and he was all about, well, Iwobi was all about Project 17, and anyway.
Yeah, he's got his own studio, Iwobi, hasn't he?
So have I.
Which begs the question, he just wanted to be down in London with the boys.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We always knew that anyway. Never settled properly up here anyway, did he? But it's immaterial. Let's not talk about players that have left us. Let's talk about players that are here.
But I was using that as a segue to say, obviously, we've lamented not having players in those positions, and today we did quite well, especially even putting the ball from wide positions. It wasn't a large percentage of what we did today. We, like you say, we played through the middle. But somebody said before, it'd be good to see Harrison back, and playing wide. So I don't know what you guys would feel about that when he's fit and well.
Well, that's a conundrum for the manager, isn't it? That's like,
So let's not. No, question done. Let's not speculate. Wes, right? Thank you for watching. Follow Everton. Goodbye.
But no, because obviously, as well as Garner played there today, we know he's not comfortable there. So does Harrison come in and replace Garner?
Well,
Yann, are we doing the phone-in?
Oh.
When today?
I don't know.
Go on. Let's have a phone-in. Peter Duggan's going to show his face.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Was he? What? Yeah, you mean the accusatory Peter Duggan? We don't know. Peter, do you have are you a radio or a video kind of guy?
No, he said he'd show his face the last time if he was going to do a video phone-in.
And we hope Peter's okay as well, by the way.
Yeah, I think Peter's definitely okay today.
Nice one. Just a quick one, boys. You mentioned before about how much of a diamond Onana is for the Belgian team. Why don't you think we play him in that position for us?
Well, somebody said before that he played deeper today, which is where his role is in the Belgian team, but I'm not sure about it. Peter, the link's there. Press it and let's see your boat race, lads.
Yeah, because everyone's
listen to all those happy blues.
And are you watching Match of the Day tonight, or are you not going to bother?
No, I might catch it tomorrow. What's name is fighting tonight, isn't he? Joe Joyce.
All right, I'm not into me boxing, so pass on that one.
Joe Joyce fighting that big Chinese fella again who got beat off last time.
I was saying he was, but he's not. To me, it didn't feel as if they were allowed to get that high. And when it was getting high, because you didn't have the freedom of a central midfielder, you had another central defensive midfielder pairing. Sometimes it felt like they weren't connected as to who would be going forward. Idrissa Gana Gueye went forward, missed quite a few shots, and doesn't have the sort of heavyweight strength to hold the ball because he does not get protected by the referees. Onana similarly goes down, and it's viewed as, oh well, it was too soft. You're capable of being stronger than that. But then he doesn't always play the most attacking, forward-thinking ball. He'll revert to just playing across the back because the players around him aren't always making the right kind of space. That's what I've said for weeks. So, maybe his performance today was a lot better, but that's about Onana. But I just still think that there's an unpolished or unfinished player in there that we need to maybe see more from.
Yeah, the thing is like I keep saying it about Onana is that, when a player first comes into your team, they either hit the ground running or they take a period of time to settle in. So you give them a season, and then you'd expect him to be proper bedded in for the next season. And I don't know whether he's, because he's playing in the position that he is, we're not seeing the best out of him, because we all think that there's more to come from him. But what impressed me tonight was the pressure that Everton, the players put on the Brentford team. Every time they got the ball, we won it back within the space of a couple of seconds.
Yeah. We are joined in the wings with Chris, who's ready to join us for the phone in. Give us a thumbs up if you're ready, Chris.
Yeah. Is this live?
He's ready.
That's me. Hey guys.
Welcome.
Yeah, I'm out in Arizona in Phoenix at the moment. Just pulled off to the side of the road to give you guys a quick call. So I'll be here for a couple of minutes. Amazing. We finally played. We were talking what we needed last week. We needed heart. We needed to win the ball back and not just lie back and be afraid of an opposition. We did it.
Absolutely.
And when everyone was watching, we all felt that DCL coming on was a mistake for better, right? And oddly enough, it worked. So I've been a skeptic, maybe not to the Duggan level from how Dyche has been doing, but absolute credit to how he took that on today. Danjuma, I'm not sure what happened, but he didn't play well last week. Put Garner in that position out wide. Everyone thought it was a bad move, but it actually worked out. So it's a weird feeling to actually say credit and happy, So awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like I think, like Yann said earlier, that you got to give Dyche big, massive credit for today.
Mm-hmm.
As much as the fans have, castigated them and wants them out, today he got his tactics perfectly spot on.
Yeah, and just on the pre-match, we were talking about that inner feeling of hoping we'll just have this surprise result. And it felt very different than the Brighton match. It wasn't like we were letting them come on to us. We actually, at times, penned them in. The last time I remember that was Southampton away last year because they were playing terrible. It's really weird feeling like we actually can control a game for a bit.
Yeah, I mean, we dominated, Chris.
I'm elated. Hence, I pulled over to call.
It's the strangest feeling to watch it and to go, okay, 1 up, we can get 2. Okay, they've scored, we can score more. And then when we're 2-1 up, and I'm thinking, at no point was I seriously thinking, we're going to throw this away and it's going to be 2-2, even if that's a possibility.
Right.
I was thought, okay, it's going to be 3-1, 4-1. What's going on? It was just the strangest, most surreal feeling to watch Everton and to have.
Right. This is a thing that I have a bugbear about, right? Is when they're saying Brentford was shite, though. Brentford were not shite. Everton were really good. We made them look shite. That's the difference, Ian.
Yeah,
you can't put that comment up and say that Brentford was shite.
Well,
you can't.
Were they excellent? No, I don't think so. I think they didn't have a target man, really.
No, they weren't great, but we made them look average.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
Last week, I felt that there was a few times early in the match when you went through the middle and they gave it away immediately. They zonally really controlled it. Declan Rice in there. We couldn't go through the middle, and we learnt really quickly. We're going to give the ball away in transition.
Who's just got a Sky Sports News notification?
This just in.
Have we just scored another?
Yeah, it's 4-1.
Oh, jeez. Man, but yeah, last week we tried to go through the middle early and then we gave up because we didn't want to give the ball away. This week, and that's where I was talking about Garner kind of coming from center right, tucking in, and then he would kind of do a darting run through the middle, similarly with McNeil. We controlled the middle and instead of it just being they would close out through that center space. They were not as good in the middle as Arsenal, and I think that really helped us.
Yeah, definitely. But people are still saying that Brentford was shite, right?
Yeah.
We pressurized them into the way they played. That wasn't down to Brentford. If we'd have sat off them and allowed them to play, right? They'd have played us off the park, and we didn't.
Yeah.
It was down to us and putting the pressure on them that made them look shite, and they're not a shite team at all. They're a very
Yeah.
good team.
Part of
They
this
won
is
Newcastle really close last week. Sorry, Chris.
I was going to say, we're so used to Everton not like being building up to the level that we expect them to be, that all of a sudden we can make Brentford not look good. And is it us being good, or is it Brentford not being good? I'm not even sure, but we dominated them at times. Like after we scored, we didn't say, let's play low block, let them come at us. We actually controlled possession right after, which is not the Everton we're used to seeing in recent times. And that's
No, I think that's why people sort of like, you know, they're quick to say that the other team was shite, because we've seen ourselves be completely shite for so long that when we do have a dominant display like that, people are quick to go, well, the other team was shite, instead of giving praise to us. Yeah, it must have been them. Instead of giving us praise, like we're quick to sort of like play it down and go, well, no, they were shite. Like Arsenal was shite last week, but they still beat us. But we were absolutely terrible last week. If we'd have played like we did today, last week, we could have easily beat Arsenal.
Yeah. I mean, hard to say unless we did it, but agreed. We didn't give them any opportunities last week to feel uncomfortable. We didn't have that, like, any decent strikes on goal. Didn't press. So, yeah, I'm going to get running here, guys. But
you take it easy, Chris.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Thanks for phoning in, mate.
Thanks for phoning in, mate.
Yeah. See you guys.
Look after yourself.
Keep smiling, mate. Is Yann the man back?
Hello.
Nice, Yann.
Yes. Thanks very much for coming on, Chris. Really...
Thousands of miles away with a smile on his face. Look what it does to you.
It's
infectious,
isn't it?
Domino Chris is on the scene.
Is he really?
Yeah. Get a bet on, Chris. Get a bet on Everton 3, Brentford 1.
And we're joined by Peter. Give us a thumbs up when you're ready to come on, Peter. Excellent.
Peter the Duggan.
All right, Pete. Nice to see you, buddy.
Hi, Pete.
Dan, can you take that banner off?
Oh, bloody hell, where did that come from?
Oh, my God, mate.
Yeah. Where did that come from? Bloody hell.
How you doing anyway, Pete?
Honestly, like, how can I put it? Slightly up, slightly down, because I had to, I'm not going to lie, in the pub, I had to put up with some absolute knobhead copite who wouldn't shut up throughout that entire game, giving us all that, you know what I mean? Didn't half give him it back, like.
We have to suffer these, you know, idiots, unfortunately.
Yes, that's one word.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus, mate. They never shut up, do they? They never shut up. They always give it that. You know what I mean?
Who was your man of the match today, Pete? And there's a lot to choose from.
You can have two if you want.
I seen in the comments he wasn't giving big plaudits to Garner, or Garner Gay.
Yeah, I thought he was poor in the game overall, but overall, I think if I was to give a man of the match, I'd probably give it to James Garner, to be honest.
Would you?
I'd give it to James Garner, because I thought the assist for that goal that he got when he was playing central, I thought he was decent, to be honest. He really gave it a good, it was a great pass, all things considered. It was an absolutely brilliant pass. But I'd give it to him personally, just because I thought he had the.
Do you think that's where he should be playing, in the middle?
Yeah.
But who do you drop?
Idrissa Gueye, because I thought Doucoure offers something going forward, but Idrissa Gueye, it's like, I'll be honest, mate. I said, I don't know if you saw it in the comments. I said that first goal, that goal that Brentford scored, I personally thought it started with him, because if you look at the situation,
out of position, and he lets the man run forward.
Well, no, he doesn't. He's not out of position. He tries to put in the challenge as the ball comes back, but he puts in like the biggest shithouse challenge I've ever seen. Like, he doesn't even win the ball, and it's a terrible attempt for the ball. Like, he just sort of half-hearted goes for it, and the Brentford man gets there first, and then he plays it forward. And admittedly, Branthwaite had a part to play as well, but I don't know. I just look at it and
Do you think that
Gay's fault?
Do you think looking forward, obviously Garner Gay's not going to go on for it forever. Do you think now would be the time to drop Garner Gay, put Garner in there and play Onana as the CDM?
Yes.
Yeah, because Onana, to be fair, I think the one thing about Onana that he doesn't get enough credit for is he is good in the air. If you're playing a lower league team, like Brentford, for example, I mean, I no disrespect to Brentford, but I don't see them finishing in the top 10 this season. But I think they will play long ball a lot. If you're playing a team that goes long ball, you've got to sort of set up in a way that protects you. And I think that Amadou Onana offers protection from that because he's good in the air, and you've got Branthwaite and Tarkowski who are good in the air as well. So you've got protection from the long ball. The only thing that worries me is the fullback situation, because Ashley Young, I mean, he didn't have the worst game ever, but booked in 50 seconds, mate. Jesus.
Yeah. I'm surprised he stayed on.
Hell?
Yeah,
I'm shocked he stayed on. I'm shocked he stayed on. I can't believe it.
But the thing with Ashley Young for me is the situation that we're in. It's not against him personally, but he was a very good player. Now he's a lot older, so he doesn't have necessarily the speed or the reactions or the things that come with age, or the things that you lose with age. So while he doesn't do anything necessarily wrong, okay, yeah, he got booked early on, and that gave me this sort of put me on shaky ground, thinking, oh, this is what's going to happen here. It's going to be a repeat of Brentford 18 months ago. Yeah, no thanks. I started to think about the kind of things that Baines would do, or that Coleman would do, that Ashley Young it doesn't do anything wrong, but he's just very much middle of the road. And then we're not in a situation with anyone to really replace him unless Coleman's fit, but Coleman's old. And we're left in a situation where we can be exposed because we've tried to cover that gap without any long-term plan. Look at what happened with like Godfrey and Holgate and the whole disaster of trying to figure out who we're going to play there. But all right, yeah. So I agree with you about Idrissa Garner Gay, right? It's sometimes potentially a weak link, again, age, and you put Garner in the middle. But you lost me when you said that Garner would be man of the match, because I think for me, Peter, it's going to have to be Tarkowski, and I agree with the Blues for once.
It's debatable, isn't it? I mean, you when you get a 3-1 win, there's probably a bunch of players who you could pick out. I saw the Blues a minute ago saying smart foul.
It was a smart foul.
I kind of agree, but I kind of agree. But I thought, when I look back at it, I thought for a moment that Onana had him covered. So I'm not sure. Maybe it was a smart foul. Maybe I was too drunk. I don't know, but I had a few berries. But
I think he got a bit squared on to him, and then once, because he was only a young lad, that Lewis Potter. Once he sort of like gone, he was struggling to keep up with him, and then he had to bring him down. But it was a strategic foul, professional foul, and he took a yellow for it. But then after that, like, there was a couple of times where he headed it back to Pickford and stuff, not under pressure. So I thought he had a half-decent game. But for me, Doucoure would have been my man of the match. I think he kind of faded in the second half, but it was to be expected because he'd run his legs off first half.
Yeah, I thought he should have scored that second chance as well. Freaking hell,
he hit the bar.
I mean, how close was that? It was practically a mirror of the same move. I thought he put that in.
Yeah, I mean, he was impressive. He was as impressive today as unimpressive he was last week. Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, the weird thing is last week, I I look back at that game. You know, I don't usually give Dyche credit.
You never give Dyche
I
credit.
well, never, no. But he went into that game, in my opinion, with the right plan. If we're playing a top 6 team, I think it's fair to say that we're not going to challenge the top 6 teams. They're gonna, if we go full out attack at them, they're going to turn us over by about 4 or 5. But if we play defensive, we could potentially hit them on the counter attack. But I think the only thing that frustrated me was the substitutions. I thought he got them wrong in that game, but he had the right plan going into that game against Arsenal, which was basically, let's try and hit them on the counter. And let's just, let's protect ourselves, because if we don't, they're going to fucking kill us here. But
yeah, but the thing is with that,
if we don't protect ourselves, that's it, yeah.
The thing is with that, Pete, right, is it worked last year. It was never going to work again this year. Because
I agree with that, yeah. I agree with that, because if you look at the transfer window, I would say that defensively we've gotten weaker, but on the front foot, up front, forwards, whatever you want to call them, forward players, I'd say we've strengthened a little bit with Chimiti, Beto, so on and so forth. We've definitely got a little bit of we've definitely got a little bit stronger on the attack, which is why I think when you're playing teams like Brentford, lower mid-table teams, whatever you say, we can't sit back. We've got to go at those teams. We've got to try and get at the attack, because we can't rely on our defence. We've got to go forward and hit them on the attack.
Yeah.
But if we're going to play against top 6 teams, we've definitely got to protect ourselves, because if we do go on the attack against them, they could turn us over by about 3 or 4 goals.
Let's be honest, right? Brentford was shell-shocked the way we played against them today. They couldn't cope with the press. They couldn't cope with the pressure that was coming onto them. And they didn't expect that. So they was a bit like sort of taken aback as to what our tactics were, because we haven't done that in the past, where we've pressed as a group, a whole team press. Like, they were getting the ball, and literally within 4 or 5 seconds, we were dispossessing them, getting the ball back and on the attack. We've never seen that. We didn't do that at Brighton, because all we done was counter attack them every time they come forward. But to actually press a team, win the ball back, and then go on the attack, we haven't seen that for ages.
Yeah, I think that's it. It mainly comes down to, in my opinion, the type of team Brentford are, because Brentford, as I said a second ago, I don't see them finishing top 10. They are lower mid-table, I think, at best. But I feel that teams like that, we should go at them. We should press them. Teams like Arsenal, top 6 teams like, you could probably make a case for Brighton after what happened last season, when we did, sort of sit back and counter-attack them, because they're easy to counter-attack, like you said before, Wes. But
yeah,
I don't see us. I can't see us going at teams like Arsenal, like Man United, like Chelsea, because they will turn us over if we just go out and attack them. We've got to protect ourselves against teams like that, but against teams like who are lower mid-table, like we did against Sheffield United to an extent, it's just unfortunate. Like, when I look back at the Sheffield United game, we were very unfortunate with a couple of individual errors from Tarkowski, I thought, but it was 50-50, I thought. The only games that were real disappointments were Wolves and Fulham, because I thought the tactical sense was wrong with the players out of position. And as a matter of fact, that was what crippled us in the end, because we did make errors based on the players out of position in those games.
But we played well in the Wolves game. We just couldn't score goals, mate. I think
that's what it comes down to. Having Beto was a significant positive, I would say, because he looks like that type of striker who will just sort of body check other players. I thought the only occasion where I got a little bit annoyed in that game, bar their goal, was, I hate to bring it up because I don't like to talk about it, but the referee. I thought the referee was shocking in that game. Apart from blocking a clear and obvious open goal for us, but there was an occasion where I think that Brentford won the ball back when it just went to 1-1. Brentford won the ball back, and they went right at us with they went right at us with another opportunity to score a second, but I don't know how it wasn't given as a foul on Idrissa Gueye, because as much as I give Idrissa Gueye criticism, there was a point where he just picked up the ball and he got taken out by the Brentford player, and the ref didn't. It's right in front of the referee, and he didn't give anything. Like, I look at that and I think if Brentford had scored from that, I'd be pissed off.
Yeah, it's we've seen a lot of those situations this season. I saw it in a couple of Beto's matches when he's holding the ball up and they're all over him and he's trying to be strong. But how long do you leave it before you go down? Before you go, hey, I'm being fouled here, and you don't get anything off the referee.
So, I
said in the sorry, go on. No, go on.
I was just going to raise a point there. Is do you think the way forward is rotating Beto and DCL? No, obviously Beto started the last 2 games.
I think in terms of Villa playing. Sorry,
I think the way forward, if we're playing lower mid-table teams, I think the way forward is Beto, Doucoure, Beto and Calvert-Lewin up front together with Doucoure in behind, because I think that will take it at opposition teams who are lower mid-table. It's only when the top 6 teams come up I'd think about dropping one of the two and potentially protecting ourselves a little bit more. Personally, I think we might get more points that way.
That's all what we wanted to see today, the 4-4-2. But I don't think he's ever going to play them together starting the game. He might change his formation at some point during the game. But I don't think he's actually got the backbone to go, yeah, I'm going to play Beto and DCL together.
Well, when you look at the bench today, Wes, the bench today was actually pretty good, I thought. I thought the bench was solid, and if he, I mean, I've been critical of Sean Dyche's lack of a plan B, but he's got the bench to have a plan B now. So if he has a plan B going forward with, say, the bench he's got now, I'll feel a bit more comfortable that we might pick up results. But the problem is he's got to make the changes, and he's got to get the decision right when he makes the change, because if he makes changes and he makes the wrong decision and it costs us, he's going to look bad.
Yeah.
Well, that's
go on, Jan.
Well, that's what people have been saying as well. Well, I've noticed in the comments, and we've been talking about it in the go 4-4-2 if losing. And the Blues says he doesn't know about Doucoure in the midfield too. Stu said he'll change it when he's more confident with the midfield. Now, my criticism, it wasn't really a criticism. I thought he played well, but of Onana today was that he's in a situation with Idrissa Gueye where the midfield space allocation is too clogged up, and it's because we're playing with like the reason why the defense can sit off a bit and then suddenly looks panicked or exposed in my mind is sometimes it's like we've got this buffer zone, so we sit back very compact and allow a team to come at us and only really push the midfield, which then drops back into a straight line of defense because they're not very good at holding the ball and pushing out. And I think if you allow them to, I don't know how we get there, but be more confident and play a more sort of like football that we saw today, you're going to see more movement and more versatility and more presence in the midfield. So I want to see more from James Garner and Onana, and I want to see players in position that are designed to play in the position. You know,
yeah, I think James Garner could be the creative midfielder that we've needed if he's played in the middle of the park. But that means dropping Garner Gueye.
I think what you're saying there, Wes, is spot on, because when I look at the assist for that goal, that was it Calvert-Lewin's goal, or was it who scored the goal from his assist? Was it I can't remember who scored the goal from his assist. James Garner got an assist from the midfield position. I just don't remember who scored it. Who scored the second goal?
Oh, the second goal was Tarkowski's head, but it was DCL that scored.
No, it was Calvert-Lewin. Yeah, sorry, it was the third goal. Sorry, I'm mucked up in the head. It was the third goal. Garner got the assist for Calvert-Lewin's goal. Yeah, the third goal. I'm mixed up there, but yeah, that was an assist that, in my opinion, looked like the most creative pass we've played in a long time. I mean, I haven't seen a creative pass played like that since probably Richarlison was in the team. And that looked like the perfect pass for someone like for Calvert-Lewin, because like if it's Beto or Calvert-Lewin, I'm not really bothered who's scoring the goals. I'm more interested that we just create those chances and score the goals, because it's one thing to play route one to someone like Calvert-Lewin or Beto and get a flick on for someone like Danjuma or McNeil. But if that's your only way of playing, you're probably not going to get many goals. You might as well try and find creativity. Yeah, that's it. You need to mix it up a little bit. I mean, Garner showed a bit of creativity there, and I think if you play him in midfield, you've got to have him in there to create some chances. But the question is, who do you drop out of that situation? Is it an Arne? Is it Doucoure? Or is it Idrissa Gueye? Because I get the impression that we could create chances from midfield a little bit more. But who drops out of that position?
It requires the people in those positions to step up and take a bit more responsibility, which they haven't always been the best at. Sorry, I'm watching United look like they might be close to trying to steal a goal against Burnley. Yeah, but that is the point for me. I'd drop Idrissa Gana Gueye, unfortunately, because how much certainty of the player that he used to be do you put up with at the sake of maybe missing out on a player's long-term development like Amadou Onana? You want to see him grow into the team and control the midfield a bit more, and maybe Garner can work with him. That's what I'd like.
What do you think, Robbie?
I'm just thinking about the team for next week and against Villa. I'm thinking to keep a winning team, or obviously change it for the Villa game.
I thought it was Luton.
Oh, Villa midweek and then Luton at the weekend.
Yeah, Villa midweek and then Luton at the weekend. So keep the same winning
cup,
team.
I think.
Yeah, do we give up on the cup and maintain a strong team to guarantee points against Luton?
Well,
or
if
do
we're
we
close
try
to
and
the
ride
relegation zone, I would, yeah. If we're close to the relegation zone, I would, yeah, personally. But, that's just me. I mean, a lot of other people can say they want a cup run. That's up to them.
Yeah. I think the aim of the game now is to put as many points between us and the likes of Luton, Sheffield United, Wolves, Burnley, between now and Christmas. So after Christmas, we're not going to be panicking if we don't pick up too many points over that busy period. So we get as many points now. We're never going to win the Carabao Cup anyway. It's not, we're destined never to ever win the League Cup. So I'd say now and forfeit that, rest some players that play today, and then go again at the weekend against Luton.
What do you reckon, Peter?
Do you reckon, Robbie?
Oh, mate, I'm keeping the same team for next week. I'm thinking we need to smash them. We're still -5, aren't we, on the goal difference? And we just need to play Luton next week and just literally leather them off the park.
But on the flip side of that, we owe Villa one.
Who plays? I'm only bothered about if we win.
We owe Villa one after the second game of the season. They absolutely trounced us.
Got a bit of history there with Villa, haven't we, over the years?
Yeah. Do you know the thing I think that surprised us most about today is the way that we, not just the way we played, but the way that we played away from home when we haven't been used to it. I think that's ultimately the decisive factor, is that we played that good away from home. They might be a mid-table team, but they're also a very well-run team. You know what I mean? They're a very well-structured team with a good manager, and I can see them in the Premier League for absolutely donkey's years if they keep the manager and they keep that, they keep that ethos of the club as it is.
They're probably better, Wes, with the striker who likes to have a little flutter, aren't he? And obviously, the seriously going to miss him like we've been missing DCL.
But he's not going to be there. He's not going to be there.
No.
He'll be off to Arsenal or somewhere. And
as Peter said, mid-table to lower down the league this season for them. because you can't afford to lose a fella like him, like we've lost DCL and it's cost us dearly. I think that will cost them dearly.
Do you give Jack Harrison, 45 against Villa?
Yeah, he played last night, didn't he, for the under-23s?
Yeah, he played the first half, I think. Apparently, he looked very impressive. But then apparently he run for another 15 minutes along the touchline when everybody went in at half time.
Yeah, definitely play him against Villa.
Would you play him, Pete?
Play who, sorry?
Jack Harrison against Villa.
If he went down then. If he's fit, yeah. If he's not fit, then I wouldn't take the risk. I don't want him getting injured. We've got enough injuries as it is. I don't really like the idea of taking risks, but it is what it is.
At some point, though, you've got to give him game time, haven't you?
Give him a chance.
At some point, you've got to take the risk and give him game time.
He fits in my opinion. He's a little bit like, how can I put it? He reminds me of Townsend. He's one of those who's got a great goal in him, a little bit of quality, works hard, and he's got a strong left foot. A little bit like what McNeil is. In fact, I find it weird because McNeil, I don't know if people will agree with me on this, but I look at McNeil. I personally would give him the number 10 role because he looks as strong as an ox at times when he's putting in challenges for that ball. He can control the ball with a bit of composure. The only issue I've got with him out wide is he's all 1 foot. And I feel like if he cuts inside, he's probably going to end up in a situation where he's, all the fullback's got to do is show him onto his weaker foot. But he's got a shot on him and he can find the pass. So I kind of like the idea of McNeil in the number 10 role, but I don't know how that would work. I mean, I'd have to see it first, personally.
Yeah, I think what Dyche was trying to do last week with swapping him and Dan Juma around each half was trying to negate that, the fact that he was, he's all left foot. And, so he'd be cutting in. If he was on the right, he'd be cutting across the pitch. And then he'd swap it back over to the left. So he's trying to, obviously keep Arsenal thinking, but at the same time trying to get a different tune out of McNeil switching sides. But it didn't really work out for him. But I'm not so sure about the number 10 role for McNeil, to be honest, because I think he is too left-footed. And, if he's in the middle there trying to make a pass, he's under pressure. He's only ever going to go one way, and that's on the outside defender.
But he looks composed under pressure, though, Wes. To be fair, I mean, when he's in the midfield, the one thing about him in midfield compared to out wide is he's actually got multiple directions to go. Is he going to go left? Is he going to go right? Is he going to go back? Or is he going to turn and take the man on? Whereas out wide, he's only got one decision. He can't go over the touchline, can he? Whereas while he's in midfield, he can turn and take the man on. Better yet, he might even turn out to be a little bit like what Sigurdsson was, because he can actually have a good shot on him. Because I've seen him have shots from outside the box before, and he can hit the target from distance. And I feel like someone like that in our team could be the definition between staying up and going down. Because if you've got someone like that in your team who can hit the target from 20-odd yards away, you might actually have a chance of scoring more goals. Because you need someone like that if you want to stay up, in my opinion. You need someone who can hit the target from distance.
I mean, you've got a point there.
Fair point, yeah.
I don't know how we're going to discuss that. I mean, you kind of left it. I was hoping we'd sort of recap or round off today's performance with some player ratings. We've talked about man of the match. I mean, obviously, I'm guessing McNeil's up there for you.
Yeah, I can do player ratings. I mean, if I could give out player ratings, I'd probably say McNeil gets. I mean, he wasn't great, but he wasn't bad today either. I think he had a good performance. I'd say he probably gets 6 today. If I could go through the rest of the team, I'd say Pickford. What? Yeah, I mean, start off from the back. What can you give Pickford? I mean,
I don't think he's done a lot wrong.
Apart from that goal that went in, what did Brentford add? Yeah, but what did he have to do? I mean, other than that goal that went in, what did he really have to do?
But that's the sign of a team that's dominated the football match if the goalkeeper's got nothing to do in it. You know
He's
what I
rated
mean?
a good
So,
7, isn't he?
I'd give him a 7, probably.
I'd say
to
a
be
se-
fair,
I'd say a
because
7.
he looked calm.
I'd say
Yeah.
7.
Yeah, I'd say a 7.
Well,
I
you,
mean,
Jan?
right back, young.
7 across the board, Wes.
Go on, Jan. I'll let you
7.
finish up.
Oh,
here.
mine's scrolling across the grottom. I've gone Pickford 7, Miko 6, Young 6, Branthwaite 7, Tarkowski 8, Gay 5, Onana 6, McNeil, Garner 7, Doucoure 8, Beto 6. DCL came on, scored a goal, so 7, and Danjuma 6. That's it,
Right.
really.
Okay, then. So, Michalenko then, Peter. Jan's gone for a 6. I'll go for a 6 myself.
I'll give him a 6, yeah. I mean, I thought, to be fair, I mean, do you know what? There's a lot of people who've been giving him daggers in the comments, including myself, when we say that he's a championship level player, but he didn't half put in a top performance today. I mean, there was a point where he played like a back heel, and I thought, that's not championship player, that.
Yeah.
Like, but
When he
I'll give
went
him a
down-
6.
when he
Yeah,
went
I'll
down the
agree.
line.
I'll agree with you. I'll give him a 6 because I
When he
think
went-
he deserves his credit.
When he went down the line and he
Yeah.
cut the cross in, he absolutely done the Brentford player. But yes, well, look, Robbie, a 6 for you as well.
United
No,
1-0.
I can't. How was it? No, I can't. Whatever. If everyone ever gives him 6, I want to give him 7. The only reason being, I actually want to see him. I want to see. He's got lots of things going on in his head. I want to see him do well. I want him to be one of the players that we go, oh my God, we got that wrong, didn't we? So I see great things there. He's a decent athlete. I've just got high hopes for him. So whenever
So based on today's performance, not
7.
because
7.
you're giving him a 7,
I'll give
based
him a
on
7.
today's performance.
Yeah.
Right,
I think he's
okay.
worth a 7. That back heel was worth
Branthwaite,
a few extras.
He should have scored that chance, though. He should have scored that chance that was served up to him on a silver platter, though.
Yeah.
He should have scored that.
Yeah, he'll score next week against Luton.
On to Branthwaite then.
He probably will.
Branthwaite, Pete.
Branthwaite. Give him a 7, I think, because I thought apart from their goal, he didn't look like he was. He had his rhythm upset at all today. He looked like the typical calm, composed centre half that he looked like. But apart from that first goal, he probably could have done better.
Yeah, I'm going to go for an 8, me. I think he was absolutely superb. I think he's a Rolls Royce of a player, mate. I think he's our next 50 million sell, without a shadow of a doubt. And it's a sad thing to say that.
It puts a lot of pressure on you there to give for what you're going to give Tarkowski if you're giving Branthwaite an 8.
I'm giving
No.
Tarkowski an 8 as well. No, 7. I'm going to give Tarkowski an 8 as well.
I'll give him an 8. I'll
You're
give
going Branthwaite
Tarkowski an 8.
Being on the line and he would have cleared the shot had Pickford's fingertips not got to it. He didn't do anything defensively wrong. He challenged to the corners. He's got an assist and a goal, and you're giving him an 8.
Yeah, well, so you go for you haven't given him you've only given him an 8.
No,
He's getting a 9.
I mean,
9
I've
from
given
me.
him an 8. Yes, I know. But look, I'm allowed to criticise myself. Leave me alone.
You can change your mind, Jan.
Yeah.
We conceded 1 goal. It doesn't make any difference.
Yeah. But and I think an 8's fair.
Is right.
It is, yeah.
I think a 9's even fairer.
Do we move on to Young, do we?
Yeah, let's move on to Young. Ashley Old.
Oh, God. Do you know what, mate? I've got to... this might sound harsh.
Amanda's given Taki
just-
a 9.
Fair play.
Fair dues.
Fair
Fair
play.
dues, Amanda.
You can give him 8, 9, 10. I think Tarkowski deserves the credit he's getting, really, because he did play well today. But as for Ashley Young, mate, some people might call me harsh. I'm going to give him a 4 purely because I don't think he that booking in the first half, mate. I'm sorry, but you can't be getting that in the first half. And there were a couple of times I thought where his crosses were poor. I thought his crosses were poor a little bit today. There were a few crosses that went over everyone. And I just thought that's not meeting the standard we're expecting. You know what I mean? We expect you to get the crosses on target, but as some of the crosses were beating everybody.
Controversial, Peter, but you got to respect it. But I'd give Ashley Old a 6 myself. What about you, Robbie?
Midfield.
I'm going for a 5. I think over the years when we've seen him play, and at Goodison, his pinpoint crosses have been absolutely outstanding. I don't think he's at the mark yet. It's like he's a top darts player, but he keeps hitting the wallpaper instead of the board. So again, it's like
his crossing is on par with Idrissa Gana Gay's shooting, right?
Yeah, is
it that bad?
I said he was a fine, mature bottle of wine, Ashley Young, and it's like he's not quite there. It's been
corked.
It's gone off.
Yeah.
It's one of the screw top ones that's gone off.
Yeah.
So let's go midfield then. Let's go midfield. Garner, as in James Garner. Peter.
James Garner, I'd give him a 7 personally, because I think James Garner's. I think he got a great assist for that goal, that third goal. But I thought that at times out wide he looked lost, but that's not coincidental, because it's not his position. It's not his position, is it? Let's be honest. He doesn't belong out wide. He belongs in that midfield. So, but based on the commitment he showed today and the assist he got, I will give him an 8 or a 7, rather 7. Sorry, because I thought there was some quality there from him today.
I'm going to go for a 7 as well. I'm not into these 0.5s, Amanda, I'm afraid. I'm just going full numbers or nothing. It's as simple as that.
You can't say that, Amanda, Wes.
I'll just have Robbie.
7.5. 7.5. Between 7 and 8 is good enough, I say.
Amanda, I'll accept your 7.5, love. No problem.
If Robbie's happy with it, he can be happy with it, but I'm not doing 0.5s. I don't do them.
He's playing out of position, isn't he? And do you know what? For me, I'd make that up to an 8, because we know, and I'm just glad he plays for us, because we've had some duds, haven't we, from Man U? And I just, again, like Michalenko, he's always going to get the extra half mark or the extra mark for me, because I just see a lot of commitment there. I see a good lad. I see good prospects. You could build someone you can build a team around. He's creative. I just got a good feeling about him.
Amanda's saying thanks, Robbie.
My pleasure, Amanda. My pleasure.
Who are we on to next?
We're on to
Alan Ball.
Onana. I'm going to go
6. I think I give him 6 as well. I thought he was average, really. I mean, there were moments where he had his faults, but there were moments where he showed some quality and some physicality as well, to be fair. But not all of it resulted in positives, because, I mean, I think he looked at times where he was probably going to get a foul given against him every now and again with some of the tackles he was putting in, but I thought he looked okay. So I'll give him a 6.
No, the annoying thing about Onana is, right, he's capable of 8s every week, minimum. We know he's capable of that.
The thing is, when we... Sorry.
Go on, Jan.
I was going to say, he's capable of that. Do you not think that that's possibly because he's fantastic at getting a foot in and cutting balls out and closing a man down and putting him under pressure so he has to turn and do that? And yet, maybe it's because Brentford didn't offer that today and we controlled more of the match, so there's less of that for him to do. So maybe he didn't have the opportunity to shine in the type of football that Brentford brought to us.
You say that, Jan.
Possibly.
I look at that situation, what you've just said there, Jan. I think about that. Out of everyone in that midfield, Onana probably puts in the best slide tackles out of that entire midfield. No one is as good at going to ground as he is, in my opinion. Whenever he goes to ground,
He knows he's getting
I'm
the
usually
ball.
confident I'm usually confident he's getting the ball, yeah. And I never feel like there's going to be a foul given away or a booking coming here because he will win the ball back. And I think that's a fair point
That's
of view
why. That's
because
why he should be
I
a
don't.
CDM.
I think he belongs. Yeah, that's why he belongs in the deeper midfield.
Yeah.
I personally, I've said that for a while about Idrissa Gueye. As much as I criticise him, by the way, isn't he the next player we're moving on to? By the way, because if he is, do you know what, mate? It's going to be this is going to be my harshest review. I'm giving him a 3. I think he was terrible today. Thought he was absolutely terrible.
The thing is, Pete,
I thought he was awful.
I respect you. I respect your opinions and your scores, right? But you can't give it. You can't give players in the squad that's just 1-3-1 away from home a 3 and a 4.
He's a 3.
You can't.
It's not about the result, mate. It's about the performance. Some of his tackles
but
were
if they didn't,
lackluster. That first goal came from pretty much his poor tackle in the first game, in the first position. But honestly, it was also his passing, his possession play. A lot of his passes, he was giving the ball away. Majority of mistakes came from him in that game, I felt. And that's why I've rated him poorly. You can probably say I'm a hard taskmaster. I heard you say that in the previous video, but
very
that's probably
harsh.
the view, but you know.
Very harsh, Peter. But like I say, I respect your views. But I just think as a collective and a team, effort, I just think it's harsh to give a player a 3.
And look, as Thorium has pointed out here, right, Peter is our guest, and he has access to the full range of 1 to 10, and he's welcome to use it.
With all due respect, I could have given him worse. I could have given him a 2 or a 1. I could have even given him a 0. But I'm not going to do that because we did get a positive result, and he didn't exactly make too many mistakes.
We don't do zeros, Peter. Someone at least gets a 1.
No, it wouldn't have been a 0 with that result, mate. It wouldn't even be close to a 0 with that result. There's obviously something good going on there if I'm not giving them that kind of thing. But I do think Idrissa Gueye was perhaps the worst player on the pitch for us today because he made so many errors with his passing.
I just wish he'd stop shooting, to be honest.
And he lost the ball. But in all, well, yeah, his shots are like miles off target. The one thing I would say for him that I was going to point out there, with Onana playing defensive, you push Idrissa Gueye further up the pitch. If he's still got anything reminiscent of that energy that he had when he was first with us before he got sold to PSG, then what's to stop him from winning the ball higher up the pitch? I mean, if he can win the ball higher up the pitch and somehow create an opportunity despite his lack of ability to pass the ball, you could catch opposition teams flat-footed. In my opinion, having Garner higher up the pitch would probably be interesting.
Because I think he doesn't have the physicality and necessarily the speed to. If he gets found out, he's been exposed much higher up the pitch, which then leaves us, leaves us in the back line exposed.
There's a massive gap then between the midfield.
He doesn't have the physicality to therefore bite at a player's heels to slow them down. He's just going to get pushed aside, I think.
But if you confine him to like a certain part of the pitch, like say he's in the half space of the right-hand side or the left-hand side, whichever one you want to pick, what's to stop him from, say, like recovering into that position? Because if you're playing a 3 in midfield, you've got the other side covered. You don't need him to make too many recovery runs apart from when the ball's getting, counter-attack down his side. But he doesn't have to push too high. He just has to win the ball in a decent half space in that left central midfield position. Because if he can win the ball in that position while the opposition are trying to come forward from the back, you could put them under pressure with the likes of Beto, Danjuma, even someone like Dobbin or McNeil on the front foot ready to pounce.
I think today, though, I think he did win the ball high up quite a bit today, Guy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I was going to say the trouble is
that's probably why I'm giving him a 3. That's probably why I'm giving him a 3 personally, because I think that's one of the things he did do that was a positive, was win the ball high. And if he wins the ball high, it gives us a good advantage to take it to opposition.
But if he wins the ball high, we're left in the situation with Idrissa Gueye having the ball high up the field and taking a shot, which we're all sort of as unanimously saying he shouldn't do.
He shoots, we're done for.
Turn it in.
Right, Robbie, sorry about that.
I was just going to say, don't ever upset Peter.
Right, so
What
we're
do you mean by
moving on
that?
to McNeil. We're moving on to McNeil swiftly. Peter, McNeil.
6, I'd say, because there were a couple of occasions where I saw some very good passes from McNeil. There was one where I thought he was so unlucky, where he played like a massive cross across the pitch, like a big switch across to the far side, and I think Beto was ready to pounce. And my God, he is so unlucky that never went through, because that would have been one of the best passes of the season we've seen so far, because it was a brilliant pass. But I thought also when he did challenge for the ball, he looked as strong as an ox. He was barging people off the ball. He was shielding it quite well. The only issue is, like, I'll agree with TJ's comment there. McNeil didn't look fit. Towards the end, he did look a bit fatigued. That was a bit of a question mark, and I worry about that, because the last thing we want is him getting injured again if he can show signs of those passes that he played, like that switch, for example.
Well,
Play against
But
the
we've
lesser
got Dan
opposition.
Juma. If he
That's great
does get injured, we've got Dan Juma there now. You know what I mean? So
the only trouble, the
Yeah.
one thing I would say I was dissatisfied. While we get to this, because you're talking about him looking a little bit off the pace, and certain players that could have come off that weren't. We only used 2 substitutions for a possible 5, and when we're 3-1 up, 2 goals up, and we're actually dominating the match, surely it's not going to upset the apple cart too much to bring 1 or 2 players off and keep, give some others some experience and confidence, and 5-10 minutes playing together.
yeah,
Could
completely
have
agree
brought
with
Dobbin
that.
on, yeah.
Yeah,
Could have brought
completely
Dobbin
agree
on.
with
That
that.
would have been an improvement. Agree.
So if Peter can see that, why doesn't Mr. Dyche see that?
Well, the thing is, he's petrified, and he's petrified of, losing the 2-goal lead. If he takes players off with 10, 15 minutes to go, and rest 4 or 5 players, he's petrified of losing that lead, and then we'd be giving them all down the banks. But it is what it is, isn't it? But
Dyche has his way. Dyche has his way. We have ours. That's probably the best way to look at it. But he's getting paid £4 million a year, so he should make the right decision.
Yeah.
Right, so
we have said before, haven't we? He's a little bit second rate with the substitute side of things. And,
he either leaves them too late.
If he can't see someone who's huffing and puffing down the line there, and Peter can see it, we can see it, and you're going, he needs to come off, because he hasn't played quite a lot recently. So it's like, just get it sorted. But that's our opinion.
Thing is, on average, right, managers start making substitutions around about the hour mark. Hour 65 minutes, right? Dyche is making his substitutions in the 80th odd minute. You know what I mean? And that's what the frustrating part is. We haven't got a massive squad. We've got strength in depth on the bench and stuff like that, and you should be utilising them players to sort of like rest other players that have actually run the socks off. Like, I thought Doucoure could have come off today, and because he looked that dead on his feet. Beto was another one, but we all wanted to see Beto and DCL. You know what I mean? But so it's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like when we had Moyes as manager. Sorry, is that all right if I go on?
Yeah.
Go on, mate.
Yeah, sorry, I don't mean to cut across anyone. It's just it's. Oh, it's not.
It's your show, Pete.
It's your show, lads. No, I'm just saying it's a little bit like when we were under Moyes. Do you ever remember those times when we were under Moyes? We'd be winning a game 1 or 2-0. Like, we'd be 1 goal up, and then he'd make a substitution where he'd bring on an extra defender, and you're like, why are you doing that? Just go at the opposition. They're looking fearful. We could win this by an extra goal. You don't need to bring on a defender and seal this out. You can go at the opposition.
Yeah, the thing is, though, I think most managers do that anyway, Peter. If you're winning 2-0 with 10 minutes to go, you shore it up, don't you?
But he did it with one goal, though. He did it with one when we were just 1 goal up, though, Wes, and he'd do it with like 10 minutes to go, and you're thinking 10 minutes. You've still got to go through another 10 minutes of this, and plus injury time. At least bring on another attacking player. You know what I mean?
Yes, I mean some people might say being only 1 goal up is more of a reason to shore up what you've got. You know what I mean? You're obviously on the opposite end of the scale to that, but it's subjective, isn't it? You know what I mean? You turn around and bring on a defender to show, to hold on to what you've got, or do you put on another attacker and go for the 2-0?
Well, as the Blues says in the comments, Dyche brought on Danjuma for a defensive midfielder today. Kept Brentford on the back foot, I felt. So it was probably the right decision in some way, because when you bring on an attacker for a defensive midfielder or a defender, even when you're winning, you push the opposition back, and if you're trying to keep them in their own half, they're not going to score, especially if you're 3-1 up. You've got a massive advantage at that point to keep them in their own half. If you just pin them back, they're not scoring.
Yeah, that's in an ideal world. I kind of agree with what you're saying, but in an ideal world, that's what happens. But it's not an ideal world, and they break, and you haven't sort of like sorted out your defense and held on to what you got. And if you go 1-1, it's like, why has he brought on another attacker when we was winning 1-0 and we drew 1-1? So it's 6-2 frees, isn't it? Anyway, on to Doucoure.
Here we go. First goal scorer, box to box, getting involved, distributing the ball. I've gone for an 8.
Give him a 9. Give him a 9. Because I thought he should have scored. He should have scored 2 goals, mate. How unfortunate he was not to hit the target with that second chance. My God, mate, that was practically the repeat of the first goal. It should have been in the net, mate. He's just unfortunate. He's at the bar. Like, I don't know if he's hit it with too much force, whatever. I think he deserves a 9 because, to be fair, he contributed so much to us winning that game. And I think that, he did run a lot in midfield. He did have his dodgy moments where, like, when he receives the ball and he's off balance and everything because he's trying to position himself properly. But other than that, I think he showed a lot of determination to win that game today, I thought. And I think that for that, he fully deserves a 9.
I think
he was probably my man of the match, apart from, I know I gave it to Garner, but I'll probably give it to him personally because he did show a lot of determination to win that game today, I thought.
It's all right. We can call James Garner up and get him to, hand the Peter Duggan trophy over to Doucoure.
So, Beto then. Beto and Danjuma, let's go because we need to go home.
Beto give an 8. Beto give an 8 because he showed a lot of that hold-up play. Whenever the ball was played long, I never felt for 1 second their defenders were going to win the ball off him because he was just backing into them, and he was backing into them and forcing them off. He definitely deserves credit for that. Yeah. I thought he was a bit. I thought the only reason why I give him an 8 and not a 9 is because he should have scored that chance he got. That was a sitter. I'm sorry, but that was a sitter.
Yeah. But that's all. I think that's all he needs. He just needs a goal, and he might go on a little run. But he won everything in the air, and his little flicks on and all that. And they say he held the ball up, and he's done everything apart from score. So I'll give him an 8 as well. What about you, Robbie and Yann?
8.
See, everyone's agreeing here, and I feel a bit stingy giving him a 6 because you are right. I was just focusing on the fact that he missed that goal, but he did a lot of hold-up play, and he kept the ball well, and he bothered their defence. And I think that's why I really want to see him paired up with DCL. So I think I should probably up that to a 7, but I'm leaving it up there because that was what I put originally. But yeah,
right.
I go for 7.
Then. Well,
I wouldn't give anyone a 9 without scoring 2 goals. It's difficult for me.
DCL,
I've got my own little system.
DCL's cameo.
Give him a. Do you know what? Give him an 8 because he scored, and it was a good goal. He took his chance well, so I'll give him an 8.
I'll give him an 8 as well.
8.
Robbie.
8.
8. Yann.
7.
One thing I will say though for Calvert-Lewin. One thing I will say for Calvert-Lewin. I hope he's watching. Calvert-Lewin, mate, get a shave. Your beard's growing too fucking big.
Excuse me.
So finally, Danjuma.
To be fair, Yann, your beard is more complimentary because you look like a young James Hetfield. But Calvert-Lewin, he just looks I don't know what I'd say he looks like, but he doesn't look right with that beard. Your beard looks fine. A beard looks fine on some people. It doesn't look right on him. I'm sorry, it doesn't.
He's not getting much sleep these days with the new baby, so he's probably sacked the shaving off.
You can. There's electric razors that work a treat on massive beards.
Oh, isn't he in the commercial for razors as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he should be
Why
getting a
isn't he
shave.
using them? Why isn't he using them?
He needs to use them.
he's
Yeah,
gonna-
that's
he's
it.
gonna- it's because he's filming another commercial in a few weeks, so they've got to have it at various stages to go in and shave it off.
Either that
That's
or
what
the
it could
razor
be.
blades don't work.
It's like it's the equivalent of like when Tim Howard had a beard. The beard did not suit Tim Howard. I'm sorry, but it really didn't.
Oh,
He kept his face warm though. Anyway, finally, Dan Juma.
I've got to be honest about this. I've got family members who have got dark humour, and whenever they saw Tim Howard with that beard, I'm sorry, but they said he was the American Osama bin Laden, like, and that was creepy. You know what I mean? So I was looking at I look at beards these days and I think, shit, you can't have that type of beard.
Swiftly moving on
If
to Dan
it doesn't
Juma.
suit you, you can't have that type of beard.
And we just go to
Dan
a
Juma,
commercial break.
Pete. Dan Juma, Pete.
Well, for a rating,
Yeah.
do you know what? I can't rate him. I'm going to give him an A because I'd love to give him credit for any part in the win, but I don't think he was on the pitch long enough. So I'm going to give him an A. Personally, I'm not saying he played bad, but I can't really say he contributed anything to the game because he came on very late.
I'm going to go for a 6. Just because he was part of a winning team.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
Just a quick
Well,
one. Just the last one, right? And this one's just for Peter because he doesn't like our manager or he doesn't rate him. How many would you give for the manager today out of 10?
ooh,
Come on, mate.
it's a tough one. Tough one for Peter, this.
I know that, but you've got to be credit where credit's due, and you know sometimes you cock up and it's not so good. But today,
I will give him. I'll give him a 5 because he didn't structure the team properly for me. Substitutes were a bit questionable, but worked in the end. But what I will say, I think he did today, which is something that I feel Dyche has the capacity to do, and I will give him the credit to do so. He can get a working class team up for the game. His tactics are not very good. His substitutions are very poor, but he can get a working class team up for the game and motivate certain players, and I will give him that. But on the whole, I'll give him a 5 because I think that as much as it probably contributed to him giving them a game, I feel the credit has to go more to the certain players that actually got us that result, I feel, and put in the shift. But I will give Dyche a 5.
I'll give him
any lower than
8.
average.
I'll give him an 8 because I think he's got his tactics spot on today, and apart from the substitutions, he didn't really put a foot wrong.
yeah. I feel 5's a little bit harsh. I'd probably give him a 7 or an 8. I mean, I feel like I should get him on the phone. He's like, Peter, what more do I have to do? Honestly, mate, I was up all night thinking them tactics and line up through.
But you know, I mean, I've got to be honest. The only thing I'll say that I've been harsh on Dyche for is when I've insulted him. When I've said like he looks like a neo-Nazi skinhead and he sounds like a Dalek, but you know, it's just, you know, or a Martian from outer space. That's probably where I've gone overboard. But I will give him his credit where it's due. He definitely got a working class team up for the game today, and they put in that performance for that badge. And I think credit to the players and credit to him for his part in it, I suppose. I mean, as much as I'm still only giving him a 5 purely based on his tactics, but he definitely got a working class team up for the game today. So I'm not going to be overly critical in any way.
Nice one, Peter.
on that not very overly critical, giving Sean Dyche a 5 out of 10 for today's performance. Sorry, Pete, you left yourself open for that one. I mean, wow.
I always do that, Jan. I always leave myself open for jokes. It's funny.
It's all right. Right. Okay. So we've covered pretty much the shock, the surprise. It is time. We've all got homes to go to. You don't know what to do on a Saturday night. So, well, that leaves us not very much left to say except to look forward to Wednesday at Villa in the cup in the third round, which looks like it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's Dracula's tactics going to be for that game, do you reckon?
I don't know, but we've been turned over already, and I just don't quite think I'm ready to put the dampeners on my good mood from taking 3 points. Yeah.
Enjoyed the weekend.
Watch Yeah. I'm just going to, for that game, I'm just going to watch Emery's press conference and wait until he says good evening. You know what I mean? Because he's got a habit of doing that, hasn't he?
Yeah, I might just watch Match of the Day tonight and watch it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Again, on replay. Right. So, Peter, thank you very much for joining us. Are you guys, Robbie, Wes, anything to say before we sign off and let people enjoy the last half an hour
just,
of Brentford, Burnley, Man United?
Thanks to all our friends out there. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And you,
have a great weekend.
You're one of our friends. Have a lovely weekend. Keep smiling.
See you later.
It's a rare one.
Thank you very much from Robbie van der Groot.
Robbie van
See you later.
Is signing off. Today we scored 3 goals.
Adios,
3 points.
amigos.
3 points for the win, 4 points in total. We're getting closer to a better, healthier goal difference. We've climbed up to 14th, 15th in the table. It's good news for the Blues, apparently. But thank you very much, Peter, for joining us. Really appreciate your, joining us for the phone-in section. And thank you, everyone, for joining us in the comments. This is uncharted territory. We are positive and happy Evertonians that are going to go into the weekend. I don't know. What are you going to do, Wes? What are you going to do, Robbie?
Just smile.
I'm just going to bask in the glory.
Yeah, so to everyone left, thank you.
Yeah, look after yourselves.
Adios.
No doubt we'll be doing a pre-match before the Villa game on Wednesday. Oh, Peter's gone. But we really do appreciate Peter joining us. Yeah. I think Ryan was on our back before saying we're one sub away from some round number. So please do share, like, subscribe, hit the notifications, and we will see you.
Tell all your friends.
Yep. We will see you in the run-up for Wednesday's game at Villa, which we're not even going to think about now. But thank you. From me, from Wes, from Robbie.
Good night.
Pearl and Dean.